Everyone talking about Godolphin by Parfums de Marly. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing Godolphin. That seems like a weird name, but this is a lot like Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford. The notes in this are on top, thyme, saffron, and cypress. In the mid, rose, jasmine, and iris. And in the base, we've got amber, vanilla, vetiver, white cedarwood, musk, and of course, plenty of leather. So this opens up very similar to Tuscan Leather, which, if you're not aware, Tuscan Leather has kind of a raspberry leather vibe. This has a similar thing, a little bit more green herbal and a kind of around the edges, but not too much. Very similar, but more wearable in my opinion. Tuscan Leather, I like it, but it is very harsh. Especially if you're not into its niche, it's not something that I would want to wear and go into a big group of people unless I was at like a fragrance convention, and even then they might be like, wow, that's basic. So this, though, on the other hand, is like a version of that, but with kind of more smoothed out edges, even like richer than that, even more luxurious. And that one is a little bit too, at times I feel like Tuscan Leather can come across more as like the badass side of it. This is the more refined, but still very, there's like a mysterious, intriguing edge to it. If you're worried about the mid being rose, iris, and jasmine and that sounding feminine, don't worry about that. This is definitely masculine leaning. Anyone can wear it, absolutely, but if you don't like feminine leaning fragrances and you don't like florals, I highly doubt that's going to be a problem for you here. It's never a point where it just smells straight up like, oh, this is roses, jasmine, and iris. And the dry down for this, to me, is also a lot more appealing than Tuscan Leather. Again, I'm not trying to diss Tuscan Leather. I do like it. I think it's a great fragrance. But here, the dry down has a little bit more depth and it's a little bit warmer. With Tuscan Leather, it's sort of not a one-trick pony, but just kind of like leather and raspberry for a lot of it. This is smoother, richer, deeper, and again, warmer in the base, which is really interesting. This isn't even something that feels kind of like, oh, it's lightly inspired, maybe similar to Tuscan Leather. It's very similar, but just done in a kind of different way. And even though Parfums de Marly fragrances are very pricey, this is actually significantly cheaper than Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford. So this goes for $330 for 125 ml or $235 for a 75 ml. Tuscan Leather, on the other hand, goes for $390 for 100 ml. So that's a lot more expensive than $330 for a 125 ml, and you're also getting 25% more in that. I would absolutely recommend checking this out if you like Tuscan Leather. If you haven't tried either, I would recommend trying a sample of both, kind of see what maybe works better with your skin chemistry. The leather here is very strong, but you don't have to love leather to still really enjoy it. If you hate it, yeah, you're not going to like it, but there's a lot of kind of like lighter kind of fruity notes in this and some herbals, and yeah, there's some florals, but again, it doesn't feel like a floral scent whatsoever. Yeah, very high quality. I think it is worth the cost. On the other hand, there are much cheaper clones of Tuscan Leather, so if you're on a budget, you can also check some of those out. But if you are not on a budget and you really just want a really nice version that's similar to Tuscan Leather and still actually a little bit cheaper, maybe a little bit warmer, a little bit more wearable in public and refined, this would be an excellent option. I will put a link in the description where you can get a sample or a bottle.